Does Pickles want to shoot a YouTube video? Do you want to shoot a YouTube video? Do ya? Does Pickles want to shoot a YouTube video? Well, let's go. Let's go to the garage. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. So, let's go shoot a YouTube video. Hey guys, this morning I'm going to be talking to you about the Removu S1 Gimbal that I've been using the past few weeks on my mountain bike. This review is going to be mainly towards how to use it on a mountain bike, some tips I've learned watching some other YouTube videos on how to use this. It's a little bit awkward the way it comes out of the box to be used for mountain biking, but hopefully this review will help you guys out. So let's dive into it and take a look at it. So first thing, it comes with this awesome rubber case. This is one of the best cases I've seen that has come with any gear that I have. It's nice and rubberized. It's got some internal pockets inside. You can keep extra stuff there. So this is the gimbal unit itself. It's got a remote handle, the case for a Hero, and some other attachments. You can hook up a session to it. So here's the main body of the unit, as you can see there. So you can hook up this remote to it. It's got these little white dots to indicate where this needs to line up. It just clicks into there. So you can use this handheld, which is kind of cool for getting some cool shots. So one thing to remember with any gimbal, when you turn it on, make sure you have a camera attached to it. If you don't, things are going to get the thing will go kind of nutty and won't calibrate right. It also comes with some different mounting options for different kinds of GoPros. This is for the Hero 4. I think you can also order online a mounting kit for the Hero 5 and 6. I'm not 100% sure of that because I just have the Hero 4. It also has some mounts here for a session, which is kind of cool. It comes with one battery here. It comes with one of these rechargeable batteries, and I found that although they claim you can get 3 to 4 hours of life out of this gimbal, in practical terms I've got about an hour and a half out of it, so I bought a few extra batteries online to have on hand. Alright, so mounting the GoPro in the case, it's just got this kind of skeleton case here that you just push the GoPro into. It's a little bit tight if you have a wind fur on your GoPro like I do, but it will push in there. And you just clamp that down. And that is what attaches to the gimbal here. Again, line up the white lines. So it's in there now. So now I can go ahead and turn this on. And it'll do its little calibration thing. So there's 3 modes that this, get that in focus. 3 modes that this GoPro has. Has a pan mode, a follow mode, and a lock mode. I don't know if you can see that in focus or not. But those are the 3 modes that this has. Basically, your pan mode, it keeps your vertical horizon locked, like so. But then you can turn side to side and up and down, and the camera maintains its vertical position. It also has a follow mode, which it basically follows any direction you turn the gimbal, whether it's up or down. It'll adjust accordingly, which is not too useful, I don't think, for mountain biking. And then finally the lock mode, which locks it in the straight ahead position. So if I turn it this way, it still wants to point over in that direction. So this mode is completely not useful for mountain biking. So I found the best mode is the pan mode. That seems to be the best mode for mountain biking, as it keeps your vertical horizon straight, and as you turn and go up and down, it keeps it locked on there. That seems to be the best mode. Now, the biggest problem with this is you see how I'm holding it here. They have the mount, the GoPro mount on the bottom here. Now, this doesn't really work too well for any way to mount it conventionally, because you don't want this mounted like this on your bike, because as you go down, you're going to see the camera's going to end up catching this part of the gimbal in that movement, which is not going to look very cool on camera. And so conversely, you can have the GoPro upside down in here, and that works better. However, then this mount is in a weird position to try to mount onto a Chesty. Alright, so just a standard GoPro Chesty with the J hook here, this style here. I'm sorry for all the bird noise out there, the birds are going nuts this morning. But to use this this gimbal upside down with the GoPro, you'll see that it does not like to mount on there like that. There's just too much space, and if you try to connect it the way that it'll want to go, you're up at this weird angle like this, and that definitely is not going to work for biking. I've also seen other people, they build little bridge connections with a bunch of different GoPro connectors, and then it'll put this thing out another 3 or 4 inches out further than it already sticks out, so that's probably not a good idea either. I saw on a YouTube channel, YouTube user Pham, P-H-A-M, he had a cool little tip. See this little GoPro mount here, these 2 screws? Simply loosen those, take them off, and you can just flip this GoPro mount around. So I'm going to do that, show you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to undo these screws. And then one more little tip. If you take the J hook here, and we're just gonna turn it upside down in the Chesty mount. So just gonna put it through this way, so it's upside down like that. Now I can mount this underneath like that, and it'll sit kind of flat against my chest there, and I can put that through. So then you'll see that it sits nice and flat there. Let me just turn the camera there. So there. That's how I use it on the bike. Now one issue that I have is that it does still sit out a fair distance from your chest. Like that's probably, if I measure, so this is sticking out approximately 5.5 inches or so from my chest, which makes kind of getting the handlebars in the shot a little challenging at times. I have to use super view just to get a little bit of the bars in the shot. Ideally, I'd probably like this more back here. I think similar to the other gimbals I've seen online, but it does work. So that's the one thing that I don't love about this gimbal, is how far it sits out. And with this Chesty, like the GoPro one, there's kind of nothing much to support it back here, so it does kind of bounce around a little bit. You don't see it too much in the footage, but you can hear it sometimes in the footage doing that. So what I've been using lately is the Stuntman Chesty that I picked up, so I'll show it to you on there, and I think it's a little bit better on there. So this is the Stuntman Chesty. It's a little bit more secure, and it's got this cool little mechanism on here that allows you to mount this thing a whole lot of different options. And then I can lower that down and lock it in place. And it seems a lot more secure, at least to me, on me. It's not hitting against the Chesty on the other one and making that clicking noise that I get every once in a while in footage. But again, you can see it's sticking out, 5.5, 6 inches or so on the front, which does not make it ideal for mountain biking, but it does work, and I've been using it the past few rides, and it does make nice footage, but probably down the road, probably gonna get a different one, as I don't really like how far it sticks out. One thing I did forget to mention about this Removu S1 Gimbal is that it is 100% waterproof. So that is kind of cool if you're going to be using it on the trail and it's a wet day. It does, I believe, I don't think I have it with me. I think I might have packed it away when I moved, but it does have a waterproof case mount that will mount to this. And the whole gimbal unit itself is 100% waterproof. So that's definitely cool on wet days. If you don't want to mess this up, it actually is waterproof, so that's one cool thing to remember. One also thing I want to mention is first time I used it on the trail, this thing was moving all over the place and I was like, really did not think it was working, but watch the... I have to ditch this gimbal, it's all fucked up again. I don't know where it's pointing. Watch the footage back later and it worked great. So if you do get one of these and you see it kind of moving all over the place when you're on the trail, don't be discouraged. I got discouraged and I ended up chucking it about 15 minutes into the ride because I didn't think it was working and I didn't want to bother watching the footage back right there on the trail, so I just went back to the trailhead and ditched it because I was convinced it wasn't working right, but in hindsight it was. So keep that in mind. It does tend to move around a lot. Maybe other gimbals do the same thing, I don't know. So overall, this Removu S1 Gimbal, I mean, it does the job on the bike. It's maybe not the best gimbal in the world for mountain biking, but it gets decent footage. And for the money, it's probably not a bad thing. The remote that it comes with makes it cool for making some cool other shots, maybe not mountain biking shots, but just other shots in general. And the case is awesome that it comes with. Probably want to pick up a couple extra batteries if you're doing longer rides. But overall, it's not a bad gimbal, maybe not the best for mountain biking, but it works. So if you happen to pick one up, here's some tips that I showed you earlier to how to get it to work with mountain biking. So remember, Toogie Howser MTB, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the trails.
Oh, shut your face, Toogie Howser.